Hi guys, welcome back to Dimitra's Dishes. So today I'm going to teach you how to make a super simple appetizer. It's great just for putting it on a table when you're having a party, just to go along with any dips that you may have laying around. They're perfect finger food, but it also goes really nice as a side to salad or even to soups. I'm going to teach you how to make my red pepper and feta dip puff pastry twists. They're so easy to make, they're delicious. I had some leftover dip made because the other day I made stuffed chicken breast with this red pepper and feta dip. So you can find that recipe there. I'll put the link up in the card section. You can also use pesto. Let's go over the ingredients. They're just so few, and then we're gonna get started. We're gonna need some all-purpose flour for rolling out the puff pastry, some puff pastry too. You can use some pesto, homemade is best. Store-bought will do. Some shredded mozzarella cheese. You can also use shredded kefalograviera or Parmesan. And then the red pepper and feta dip and some melted butter. So now puff pastry usually comes in a pack of 2 and you're going to need both pieces. Just make sure that you thaw it out and it's nice and cold. You can do that in your refrigerator by leaving it in there for a couple of hours. And now we're just going to roll it out just a little bit. Just dust your work surface with a little bit of all-purpose flour. And you can just roll it out about 1 inch or 2 longer into a rectangle. Just like that. We're going to do the same thing with the second piece so that they're the same size. So they're both the same size as you can see, and we're going to work with 1 sheet at a time. So what we're going to do is very simple. We're going to take some of our red pepper and feta dip and just spread it all across the top. And you want to take it all the way to the edges. And then we're going to sprinkle the top with mozzarella cheese, just shredded mozzarella. We're going to cover it with the other piece of puff pastry that we've rolled out, press it down, and now we're just going to cut it into strips. And we're just going to brush the top with some this is melted salted butter, but you could use unsalted butter too. And just sprinkle the top with a little bit of salt afterwards if you wanted to. And at this point, if you wanted to make them even more flavorful and cheesy, you could sprinkle the tops with a little bit of grated Parmesan. But this is good for me. And then I'm just going to twist these. This is pretty big. I could have cut this into 2 pieces. And then I'm going to put them on a tray lined with parchment paper. So I cut mine a little bit on the thicker side, and I got, how many did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you could easily get 12 to 14, maybe even more. And now I'm just going to brush the tops with the remaining butter, because there are some parts of this. The back side of the first sheet didn't get any butter. So we're just going to brush it so it can bake to be nice and golden. And you can add some herbs to this butter if you wanted, like some rosemary or some dried oregano, just to add some more flavor if you wanted to. So as you can tell, I didn't use my pesto because we love this red pepper dip way more than we do the pesto. But you can use either or you can even do this half and half. So you can do one side of the red pepper dip and the other side pesto. One more thing you could do, you can add some pine nuts in the center of this, some walnuts. There are so many variations that can be made, but my oven is preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to bake these until they're nice and puffy and golden, and I'll show you what it looks like as soon as they come out. The puff pastry twist took about 25 minutes in the oven to cook. This is what they're going to look like if they're thinner, and they should be thinner. I went a little crazy and cut mine a little too fat. They're definitely not going to go to waste, but they should be a little bit thinner than this, just so that way they can be very easy to pick up and you could serve more people. But there's no rule when it comes to this. Make them as big or as small as you like. Let them cool completely so that way they're easier to handle and they firm up. And then go ahead and give them a taste. They almost have like a pizza taste. This dip is probably one of my favorite dips ever, but since I do have some pesto sauce here, I'm going to put some on here because Pesto is good on anything with cheese, so I'm just gonna go ahead and taste this. Buttery, crisp. The puff pastry is one of my favorite things to have on hand just because you can really turn it into so many different recipes. I've shared many of them on here with you on this channel. If you want the recipe, go on the website www.dimitrasdishes.com. It's also underneath this video in the description box down below. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Share pictures with me on social media, and I will see you all next time. Yes,